Let's talk staple pieces. But before we do, hello, welcome back to my YouTube and my wardrobe. I'm Eve, and if you don't know who I am here to help you find your personal style. If you haven't watched my first video, I did a little introduction about what you can expect from me on YouTube, and today's video is chapter 1 of this styling series I've prepared. Side note, I am quite ill at the moment, so I apologise that my voice is not sounding great and I may be sniffling here and there. But yeah, we're pushing through it, we're doing this. We're talking about the staple pieces that you need in your wardrobe and where to buy them. No matter how maximalist, creative, eccentric you like to dress, I wholeheartedly believe that staple pieces are essential. I used to have only statement pieces. I was not drawn to anything plain when I would be shopping, and that just resulted in me finding it really hard to style my pieces together. Even though I think pattern clashing and mixing statement pieces is an amazing thing, I think you can create some amazing outfits with like all statement pieces. It just takes time and it takes work, and we don't always have that amount of time. So having those staple pieces in your wardrobe is really gonna make getting dressed so much easier, make you wear your statement pieces more, and also elevate some of your pieces. That's kind of the angle that I'm going into this at. It's less about that kind of capsule wardrobe, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not really a capsule girly. I prefer to have lots of clothes and lots of options. This is more about how to incorporate staples to wear with the wardrobe you already have, rather than like staples to create a capsule wardrobe that you only wear together. Because as much as you absolutely can do that with all the things that I'm going to list, my whole thing is about like personal style and wearing what makes you happy. And I truly don't believe that everyone's going to feel happy in a plain white button down and some jeans and a blazer, even if that looks chic and it looks good and they work together, which they will. That's not dopamine dressing. That's not what we're about. So whether you're just starting with your journey on maximalism and you want to know what pieces lay the foundations for that, or you're someone who is like I used to be, has only maximalist, eccentric statement pieces, and you need help with styling them and what can you add to your wardrobe that won't feel like a waste of money, this video is for you. So let's get into it. Okay, first I want to explain to you my tier system with staple pieces, because I truly believe that a staple to one person may not be a staple piece to another person. So I kind of came up with a tier system in that we have basic staples, elevated staples, and maximalist staples. Today we're just covering basic staples and elevated staples. These ones are really the foundations of your wardrobe. They're super versatile pieces. They're relatively plain, but they can elevate your statement pieces. They can be incorporated into your wardrobe super easily. And then we have the kind of elevated option if you don't feel like you want to buy like the basic. There are elevated staples. I hope that makes sense. I actually bought like the world's smallest MacBook. When did MacBooks get this small? For real. Last time I had a MacBook, it was literally twice the size of this. But I bought this just so I could refer to my presentations while I'm making YouTubes. That's how serious I've got myself a mic, got myself a MacBook, taking this very seriously. Let's go. Item number 1. And if there's anything on this list that I wholeheartedly recommend and would say that you need in your wardrobe, it is this one. It's a white shirt, plain white shirt. This is absolutely one of the most versatile pieces in my wardrobe. It's something that I reach for again and again and again, mostly for layering. I would say mostly this is just a really great layering piece. A little collar peeping out of your knit, or a shirt sleeve peeping out of your knit. I even love the look of like a shirt all the way down and then your knit's kind of like rolled up halfway up your arms. It's just vibey. It's just like an instant elevation. And like I said, super versatile. You don't just have to use it for layering. You can wear it alone. When it's too hot for a jacket, but I do need something over my outfit, white button down. And I highly recommend looking in charity shops for these. Look in the men's section in charity shops. That's where I got my two Charity shops, vintage, Depop, I just think these are really, really easy to find secondhand. And you want something that's quite well structured, nothing too flimsy. You want the collar to hold its shape, you want the cuffs to hold their shape. So that's the basic staple. The elevated version of this staple piece is a dagger collar. Having a collar is one thing, but having a dagger collar, it's just giving fashion. Also, over exaggerated sleeves or cuffs, maybe a flared sleeve or like a puffy sleeve. I have one of these. I found it on Vinted for like £3. I really do recommend you look on Vinted for these. Like, I think there's a lot of them. Like, they're not hard to find. Also, really love this blouse from Damson Madder. It has a over exaggerated collar, over exaggerated like puff sleeve, and that little red stripe, giving like the sailor aesthetic. Another very elevated shirt. Here we have this kind of deconstructed, I don't even know how I would describe this. This is kind of teetering on the edge of a maximalist staple. I'm not, you could definitely do some layering with this. It's got like the interesting kind of stud detail. But I would kind of want to wear it on its own just because of all of that detail going on there. So when you are looking for your staple pieces, I think especially with this one, I would recommend going for like a basic one because I think that makes it more versatile. The dagger collars and the flared sleeves, you can absolutely still layer under a lot, but you just want to be careful that you're not taking away too much focus from the statement piece that you're layering it under, if that makes sense. So I'm pretty happy with just having my like basic white button down. But yeah, throwing in a dagger collar now and then never hurt anyone. So slay for dagger collars, I guess. I've actually linked so many shirts in this presentation, so I'm just going to add them all to my LTK and I'll link that in the description so you can pick and choose which one you feel works best for you. Staple piece number 2 is a white t-shirt or a vest. Again, a layering piece. I think just having that little peep of white around the neck under a jumper or a top or a dress just adds something. If you're wearing like a corset, having like a vest underneath, it kind of adds a kind of casual vibe. A corset is quite a dressy vibe, and then mixing it with the casualness of a vest, it's just adding a bit of interest. It's a bit of like a juxtaposition. I really like that kind of look. So again, these are mostly just layering pieces. You kind of want to get a decent quality t-shirt because you don't really want that kind of disintegrating neckline vibe. You kind of want it to hold its shape and not kind of, sometimes t-shirts will go kind of like wibbly wobbly around your neck. You kind of want like a decent quality one. So I definitely recommend this one from COS. In terms of the elevated version of this staple piece, it's mostly about kind of the neckline and the straps for a vest. Maybe having like a one shoulder neckline, maybe having like a bit of ruching down here, maybe having like an interesting shape of the straps. A brand I absolutely recommend for some elevated vests is 90%. Their clothes are well made, more ethical than most brands, and still quite affordable for a sustainable brand. They do a lot of ruching, they've got some twist strap vests, interesting necklines, just really great elevated staple pieces here. And in terms of an elevated option for your t-shirts, I think a good graphic. I personally don't have any completely plain t-shirts because whenever I'm wearing a t-shirt as a staple piece, I'm basically wearing it to layer underneath something, so you're not going to see the graphic on it anyway. You absolutely can wear it with your like statement skirts and statement trousers as just a plain piece, but I also think you can wear a t-shirt with a graphic on with your statement bottoms. Even if it does have a graphic on, you're treating it as your staple piece because your statement skirt is the hero piece of the outfit. That's kind of how you have to think about staples in my mind. Damson Madder have these t-shirts that have like a little logo on the front or like a little graphic on the front and then this big graphic on the back. So from the front, you're still looking pretty like plain, and then from the back, you can be like, interest, fun. The next staple piece I recommend you have in your wardrobe is a corset top slash bustier slash like a corset belt. Again, for layering, you can layer this over your t-shirts, over your shirts. Even if you put like a plain shirt with a corset top over the top, like a plain corset top, instantly elevated. I think one of these over your dresses as well, great for cinching things that are a bit too big for you, great for like adding shape and dimension to your outfits. Like you could have like a really loose fitting dress or a loose fitting top, and then you like whack on a corset top or a corset belt, and then you can like pull a bit out and you have like a bit of ruching. It can just elevate stuff really quickly. Also, when you're styling statement pieces, if you do have like just lots of crazy patterns in your wardrobe and you want to wear like this statement top with this statement skirt, sometimes it can be a bit like jarring to the eyes. Whack like a corset top or a corset belt over the top of a plain one. You're breaking up those patterns, making it easier on the eye. It means that you're able to style things that before you might not have styled together, but because you have that piece, it's breaking them up. It makes it easier. Definitely highly recommend this one. I think it opens up a lot of options. To me, like that's a staple piece because I will wear it over and over again. In terms of elevated corset tops, I would say it's about the texture, like the material that it's used. Denim, love me a plain denim corset. I have a few from this girl called Maria. Also the length, like a long kind of cinch one, that over like jeans. Slay. I like this one from Ganni that is on the Outnet. Also, the Outnet is a massive recommendation for me. I rarely buy like my designer things full price. I often get them from the Outnet or secondhand or just like in sales. Outnet is amazing. Like this is a Ganni strapless coated denim top, but it's giving that same kind of corset top energy, and it has like this belt detail. It has the buttons, lovely detail piece, but it's still a staple because it's plain. It's plain, so it's still a basic piece, you know, and you can absolutely still layer that over any of your pieces. Item number 4, jeans that fit. If your jeans don't fit nice, you're probably not going to wear them often. I think this is a hard one to just like pop out and buy. Like you really do need to try a lot of jeans before you find the right fit. I would recommend a Goldie, obviously Levi's and COS for jeans. However, I would definitely just go to these shops and just try on lots of different sizes, lots of different types of jeans until you find the size and the fit that you're happy with. I personally feel like a straight leg, mid rise, or high waist jean is the perfect staple jean and can be worn with obviously any of your statement tops. And I prefer like a darker denim myself, but I do think that jeans are just kind of specific for you and something you really like want to play around with and like try on lots of different options because things look different on different bodies. In terms of elevated jeans, I think it's mostly about the proportions. I think a flare, a vibe, an extreme high waist or an extreme wide leg, or when they're literally on the floor. Not practical at all, but fashionable. Yeah, nothing looks better than a really long, like a jean that's too long for you, and then a little kitten heel like peeping out the bottom. It just looks so, it's fashion. It looks good. Yeah, I love me like a wide leg jean. I have my Meester jeans that come up to like here. They're super wide leg. Then in themselves are, as much as they're a staple piece for me, they in themselves are kind of a statement. I love a statement staple, which seems contradictory, but it still acts as my staple piece because I'm still treating it like a staple. I'm still going to pair it with like a crazy graphic or a print or just a very interesting statement top. So in that sense, they are acting as my staple piece, but then in themselves are a statement. Does that make sense? Or even a jort that's changing the proportions of your jeans. Like just something about the proportion, the shape, the size gives it interest, but absolutely will still act as a staple piece in your wardrobe 100%. I feel like basic jeans and elevated jeans both have a place in your wardrobe. You don't necessarily have to pick one or the other. I feel like with a basic jean, great for layering again. Under your skirts, under your dresses, similar to like the vest under a corset, like wearing a jean under like a really pretty dress or something. That juxtaposition of styles and like dressiness to casualness, I think is a really just interesting look. With an elevated jean, you can layer it under dresses and skirts, especially if it's just a super wide leg. Looks great. almost follows the line of the dress. Like if you're wearing like a maxi dress over the top and it follows the line, but you have like these wide jeans picking up the bottom, I think that's also great, really kind of high end look. But if the elevation is around the waist, maybe they're like a paper bag jean, I think people call them. Maybe they're super high waisted, maybe they're super low waisted. Like if that's where the interest is and you don't really want to hide that by layering, elevated jeans are such a great standalone piece to like elevate a casual outfit. You want to be casual, but you want to be elevated. Find something interesting in the proportion of your jeans. Or you want to casualize a going out like dressy outfit, but you don't just want to wear boring jeans. Find something interesting in the proportions of your jeans. It's simple. The same applies to my next staple piece, which is suit trousers. I'll breeze over it quickly because I'm going to say pretty much the same sort of stuff. Taking an outfit from casual to like a day outfit or a girl's night outfit, like just whacking on a pair of suit trousers just kind of elevates it, makes you look a bit more dressed up. And the elevated version of this again is in the proportions. Super high waist, super wide leg, flared. I have these ones in burgundy and they are super long. So if you're short, I probably wouldn't recommend these. I'm 5'6" and they're too long on me, but it kind of just gives that kind of ruching effect at the bottom when you wear them with like your little kitten heels, or even like with like a lace up heel and you lace the heel up around them. I just think that like ruching effect when your trousers are too long is like, that's an elevation, like that's adding a point of interest. The next item is so obvious but took me so long to actually buy. It's a plain black mini skirt. Like I said at the beginning, I was just never drawn to something so plain. Like, why would I want a plain black mini skirt in my wardrobe? But once I bought one, the opportunities it opened up for my wardrobe were just endless. Like, people say black goes over everything. It's true. It does. And you can wear your black mini skirt over and over again. And I wear mine over and over again. And I think the only thing that persuaded me to buy one was finding a really nice elevated one, because I think I just wouldn't wear like a plain black A-line miniskirt. Great, will absolutely work with everything, but I need something of interest. So in terms of elevation, I think like a nice little buckle, like a belt detail. My one is from Versace's Jeans Couture and I got it on Essence, and it has like this double belt detail. Obviously, if you're getting something with like studding or hardware, make sure it's the color of jewelry that you like to wear. Like if you're specifically a gold girl or specifically a silver girl, obviously match your belts and like your hardware to that. Even if you really, really like a piece and it has like the most gorgeous silver embellishment or something, but the jewelry that you wear is the opposite of that color, you're probably not going to wear it. Like if you know you're not a gold girl, don't get a gold belt buckle, even if the piece itself is amazing. So yeah, ways of elevating: belts, studding, asymmetry, a bubble skirt, playing on like the proportions, ruching, tiered. There's a lot of different options when it comes to a black mini skirt. You do not just have to pick a simple A-line mini skirt. Naturally moving on to a neutral midi skirt. I have this one from Marquette. I have it in black, I have it in pink, and I have it in brown. And absolute staple, can wear over and over again. I personally like to put a little bustle under it to add a bit of volume. Yeah, a good midi or maxi skirt, just a really good like a go-to piece that you know is going to go with everything. So there's not too much to say about that. In terms of elevation, I think the fabric, like a tulle, I can never say that word right. Tulle, kind of like tutu vibe, stun, tearing. Maybe it's got a bit of embroidery in it, like this one from Damson Madder. Asymmetry, kind of like a kilt vibe, but it's just plain. Studding, embellishment. There are a lot of options. I'd say there's more options in the midi and maxi department for elevating your staple skirts. Since I started incorporating these into my wardrobe, definitely opened up so many options. The next piece is a good blazer. For me, oversized. Oversized blazer is just great to throw on over anything. I personally got mine from a charity shop in the men's section. Honestly, don't sleep on the men's section of the charity shops. I just think having that plain staple blazer is great over your like maximalist crazy outfit, you don't have to worry about like, oh no, is it going to go with my jacket or my blazer, because you have that piece that will go with everything because it's plain. In terms of elevating it, I think a nice shape, you can get the really nice fitted kind of cinched ones. They look really nice and elevated. You can get some that have like a nice like slit going down the back, but I really just think a nice basic one is key. And similar to that is the next one, which is a cropped leather jacket. This could also be a crop blazer, but I just think you need to have two pieces, one cropped, one full length, like bum length, that you can throw on over any outfit. So in my case, I've gone for like a full length blazer with a cropped leather jacket. Sometimes the proportions of your jacket are kind of key and can kind of like kill a vibe or make a vibe. So having like a cropped option, I think, is really important. And also, you know, if you're wearing like a really statement wide leg trouser with a high waist, I just find it such a shame to cover that with like a full length blazer. I think a cropped jacket over the top shows off the trousers more, gives a really nice shape, gives nice proportions to the way that your clothes, hello Betty, your clothes are layered, if that makes sense. So I definitely think a cropped jacket doesn't have to be leather, but I think like a nice faux leather one is gorge. And in terms of elevation, the sleeves, you can get like a puff sleeve, you can get the ones that have like the little belting detail, you can get one that's like kind of corseted. I have the most gorgeous Simone Rocha leather jacket that I'm obsessed with. It's become such a staple, even though it is in itself kind of a statement piece. It's a staple piece in my wardrobe. This is what I can't stress enough, is like wardrobe to wardrobe staple pieces will vary, and for me, a leather jacket that has like a big puff sleeve, it has a belting detail, it has like a kind of 3/4 length sleeve so I can see what's happening underneath. To some people, that's a fucking statement piece. To me, that's a staple piece. It just is. And I feel like your elevated staples can be statements in themselves, but they're still staples. Okay? They're still staples. I wear it over and over again. So yeah, crop leather jacket and full length blazer, two things I think are really important when you're wearing an outfit that has like lots of colors and lots of patterns or interesting textures or interesting shapes. You just want to have that like go to crop or go to full length blazer you can reach for and whack on, and you know it's going to work and you don't have to worry. Moving on to footwear, you just need to have your go to black boot, obviously, either knee high or calf high, whichever you prefer. They just look great with your mini skirts. They just look really great. You look instantly fashionable the minute you put on a knee high boot. It's just facts. It's just how the world works. An elevated knee high boot would be one that's, hold on. I have these ones from Ganni and they are super wide around the calf, which I think, firstly, great for fitting lots of different sizes, because I know sometimes knee high boots can be like quite size exclusive, whereas these are very size inclusive because they're so wide. The little kitten heel detail, the pointed toe, the little buckle detail. This is an elevated knee high boot. I wear these most days of the week. They're just such an easy shoe to reach for, and I instantly just look fucking cool. That's just kind of the power of the knee high boot, I think. Another good elevated knee high boot that I also have is the Coperni one, the really interesting like bridge shape. Again, I guess it's just about the shape when it comes to boots. You can play around with the shape of the toe, pointed toe, square toe, and kind of the shape of the boot up your calf, and then maybe some details like maybe a lace up, like, oh, these Meester ones, like the lace up detail. Gorgeous, elevated, stunning. And if I'm not wearing those Ganni boots, I'm most likely wearing these Shu Tong pumps, which is the next item. A black pump stroke Mary Jane stroke loafer. Just like a nice, comfortable, sensible sized heel, easy to walk in, pump or loafer, whichever you prefer, that you can just whack on with a white sock and just give like that little preppy vibe. Or these have like a black sheer tight, give that sophisticated, well put together vibe. You just need a nice black shoe. You just do. In terms of elevating your pumps, I would say these ones are elevated. They've got the bow detail. It's all about the little details, maybe the shape of the heel, maybe the shape of the toe again, maybe an additional detail like the bow, or maybe a buckle, or maybe some embellishments, or maybe a lace. You don't have to be plain, boring, nothing going on. You can definitely have some shape and details. It's still going to be a staple piece. Okay, gang, we're on to my final staple piece recommendation, and that is a good black belt. Everyone needs a belt, not just for practical reasons to hold up your trousers, but also for cinching things, for just adding that extra bit of detail. You can take a boring pair of trousers or a boring skirt, whack a belt on it. It's interesting. It's got a bit of interest. It's adding that detail without having to buying the thing with the detail in the first place. Adding a belt around a t-shirt, adding a belt around a blazer, adding a belt around a dress. Just, you can change the shape of things with a belt while adding a detail. Similar to the kind of corset top, you can just create shapes and ruching and details. In terms of elevating a belt, it's obviously all about the buckle. Just find a buckle that you like that's interesting. This one's not super elevated, but it does have that like interesting kind of engravement. Is that how you would say that? It's engraved. I think that's how you would say that. Like I said earlier, with belts, buy a buckle that matches the jewelry that you prefer naturally. And if you like to mix up whether you're wearing gold or black, it would be nice for you to have a belt that caters to both of them, or just a neutral one with a neutral buckle that is neither gold or silver. Like maybe it's a black buckle or like a wooden buckle. So those were my 12 top staple pieces, but I also have some honorable mentions, which aren't necessarily staple pieces, but like pieces that you just need to have, but they're a bit too like insignificant to be staple pieces, if that makes sense. But the first one is white socks. Not trainer socks. Socks that come like past your ankles, like almost calf high. Wearing a pair of white socks with your little pumps, immediately just adding those white socks is adding something to your outfit. Recently I bought some Adidas ones with like the Adidas logo, and I love, again, like the juxtaposition between like the sporty sock with the really like cutesy, classy, feminine shoe. I think that's such a good way to like play around with things. So I think like a good like white sports sock or just normal sock, kind of like shin height, you know. Next, black sheer tights. I feel like there's just nothing more to say about that. Like everyone just needs to have a good pair of black tights. I personally prefer like a good sheer look with tights. I think it looks sexy. The next thing, these cinchers have been life-changing for me, not just to make clothes that are too big fit me, but also just to change the shape of clothes. I have a blazer that I like to wear it oversized, but sometimes I might want to wear it a bit more shapeful, and these are great. I literally got this off Amazon. It will be linked. And then the last one is cycle shorts slash like girls boxers. Just, you need to have some little black shorts that you can wear under your skirts and under your dresses, because we all have Marilyn moments. There are scary, creepy men in the world, and it's just nice to have a bit of comfort knowing that I've got my little shorts on, and the elevation of that is bloomers. Love me a pair of like white little frilly bloomers or black frilly bloomers, and then you can even have the little frill kind of peeking out the bottom of your skirt or your shorts or whatever it is you're wearing. Yeah, we all need something for our modesty when we're wearing skirts and dresses. So they're in my honorable mentions, not staple pieces, but like just things that you just need to make your life easier with getting dressed. Like I said at the beginning, you absolutely don't need all of these staple pieces. These are just my personal faves that I have found that since incorporating have made getting dressed easier and opened up more options for me. Just consider what's in your wardrobe. What do you think of these pieces you could incorporate, and you could see that really opening up a lot of options with the pieces that you already have, and then maybe consider getting some of those into your wardrobe. I'm so excited to start talking about maximalism and like dressing so creatively, and like my tips and my advice. I think that's where my expertise lies, in like the creativity, and I'm really excited to get into pattern clashing and color combos and textures and all of that stuff. So this has been a little bit of like a boring video to film, and I hope it wasn't too boring to watch. I just want to make sure that before we go into all of that stuff, you have the foundations of your wardrobe prepared, especially when we start talking about layering. I've mentioned layering a lot in this video. When I do a video just on layering, the amount of times I'm going to refer back to these pieces, like I just want to make sure you have them. I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm excited for the next video. It's going to be a bit more interesting. We're going to be talking about maximalist staples, which are more than just elevated staples. They are staple pieces for people who just don't like basics. Like, staples don't have to be boring. And even if these maximalist staples might be a statement piece for someone else, for us maximalists, for us eclectic dressers, they can absolutely act as our staples, and I'm just going to tell you how. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, comment any questions that you have, and I will answer them in the next video. So I actually lied, my next video is not going to be maximalist staples. My next video will be my June favorites, because like I said in my last video, I am doing a monthly favorites as well as a monthly like educational video. So my next educational video will be maximalist staples. My next video will be my June favorites plus a Q&A in one. So I hope you come back for that. I'll answer your questions. If anyone leaves any questions, it'll be so embarrassing if no one leaves any questions. Even if you don't have a question, just make one up for me so that I'm not embarrassed, because I actually don't know if anyone's going to watch this. So if I could just get one question, I'll be really grateful. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it was helpful. Hope that you join me next time. And yeah, I'll see you for my June favorites. Adios.